This game is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure many of you will have played this before if you're clicking on this video. But for those of you completely new to Ruse, it is the predecessor to all of the games that I play on the channel. Like War Game, Still Division, Warno, all of these games came out after Ruse. Ruse is the OG iris zoom engine game. This was the first game to use this engine where you can zoom all the way in and see the detail and zoom all the way out and even see the battle room. Hello guys and welcome to Ruse. We're back on this classic game today because it has recently been re-released on Steam. This game came out 16 years ago, but it got lost in the nether due to licensing issues with the old publisher that took it down from all stores worldwide. Now, Eugen Systems has managed to get back the IP in their hands, made a few updates, and put it back on Steam as a combined deluxe edition that includes all DLC. If you already have a copy of Ruse, you'll also receive all of the extras for free, including the elusive Japan DLC. So one thing I will say is make sure to check your Steam library to see if you own Ruse before you buy it. The game apparently runs well on Steam Deck as well, so make sure to try that out if you have one. Today I'm going to be jumping into the Skirmish versus AI to show you how the game works, but if you want to see a full playthrough of the campaign on the hardest difficulty, make sure to check the link in the description. Also, if you're planning to play the campaign from scratch, I would suggest starting from the tutorial and then going on to the campaign, as it does provide a little bit of extra context. So just a heads up on that. Alright, we'll jump into versus AI. So this is just the standard battle mode. We can select a map here. There's plenty of maps that are in the game, lots of 1v1 maps. You've got plenty of 3 to 4 player maps, and then 5 to 6 player maps, and then only a couple of 7 to 8 player maps. I'm kind of half hoping that they might add some more content to this game, but who knows. War mode basically refers to which era you want to play in. So if you can lock it to certain units, 1945 era is the sort of base way to play the game. You've also got a total war mode and a nuclear mode, which includes nuclear weapons, where you can blow up the entirety of someone's base with a nuclear weapon. Very fun indeed. But either way, we're just going to keep it standard on the 1945 era. Definitely worth checking out though, and of course you can change the time limit if you want to as well. So we'll just add a medium AI and we'll just keep them on a random faction. Myself, we'll go with the UK, of course. But as you can see, there are plenty of factions to play. USA, Germany, UK, France, Italy, USSR, and Japan. They all have sort of their own unique units and sort of ways to play that are stronger. So, for example, I would say the French get a really good sort of head start. They have a lot of like strong early game units. So does like Italy. But with like Britain, for example, the strength really relies in their aircraft. You can get hurricanes early, so there are certain units that you can get earlier or later. Anyway, let's go ahead and launch, get in there, show you guys the game, because this game is absolutely fantastic. I'm sure many of you will have played this before if you're clicking on this video, but for those of you completely new to Ruse, it is the predecessor to all of the games that I play on the channel, like War Game, Still Division, Warno. All of these games came out after Ruse. Ruse is the OG iris zoom engine game. This was the first game to use this engine where you can zoom all the way in and see the detail and zoom all the way out and even see the battle room, which is a little bit different sometimes on different maps. So definitely worth zooming out and checking out your surroundings. It's super cool. You can actually go really far back and see the table from afar. Anyway, let's get back in there. As you can see, I'm placing down all of my supply depots. These supply depots, basically you just select the supply depot and hover it over a supply dump, and it will go and create a little supply depot here that trucks will come out of, and they are basically your income. So you can see as the trucks arrive, they're giving me more income. So we're just sending one off over there, and I might also send a little base over here as well. You can send a secondary headquarters. Secondary headquarters are useful because you can build from them, and you can also collect resources. So where this supply dump is really far away from our main base, we can basically put a secondary headquarters nearby that will increase the rate that we pick up that supply. Now, one thing I am going to want to do is get my airport down so that we can get some hurricanes in the sky and start to deal with the enemy forces. as you may have noticed, we are able to see everything that the enemy is doing, except from their exact units, which requires recon to reveal. But we can see that they're creating some infantry units or light units, and they've also got a heavy unit coming out there. And in order to reveal that, I can go ahead and do like decryption to see their orders, for example. You have like these ruses that you use. You can see I used the Blitz one already, which basically just speeds up your units. We've got the Fanaticism one that inspires units to fight to the death. So when units take damage, they start to retreat, but you can stop that. And then we've got forces enemy units in the sector to flee faster, so you can make enemies retreat faster. We can deploy decoy bases, and we can also deploy fake offensives. So if I want to do a fake air assault towards the enemy, I can set that up, and my airport will start creating and sending off fake planes towards the enemy. We can also use the spy ability. That was the one where I was saying, oh, I can reveal all of the enemy troops that are zooming towards me right now, which is quite a lot, so we're probably going to want to do something about that. And then, following that, I will show you the rest in a moment, because we need one available to be able to show you. Let's go ahead and create a couple of hurricanes, as they will help us deal with these heavier targets. We've got an M3 Lee coming at us. There's a Stuart. They've got some GIs probably as their infantry. I'm just deploying an infantry base over here so that we can just put some infantry into the trees to ambush these forces as they come towards us. We're just sending like decoys here that will maybe make the AI create some anti-air or something. We are only playing against medium AI, so they're not going to be like fantastic. The multiplayer of this game is great though, and it seems like the player base has really come back. When I was checking it, it was peaking at like 1.4 to 1.5k people playing, and I don't know if that's entirely multiplayer, but that's a lot of people. So definitely pretty cool that that is the case. I am going to get myself some recon. We'll get the Anson built, because we need to be able to see the targets that we want to kill with the hurricanes. But the AI is just going to keep pumping forces towards me, so I will want to build some more units shortly. We'll just go and get into the tree line here. They're currently in the trucks, and then they'll unload from the trucks once they get close. Whenever they go long distance, they basically jump into a truck, and then as soon as they get there, they jump out. Now when you're in trees or a town, you can ambush enemy units at close range. So if I was like in the courtyard here, I could ambush their forces there. There we go. Surprise attack. Good stuff. Able to get loads of lovely damage in. We did get ambushed by their GIs, but we've got to be a little bit careful here not to get just overrun by the tanks here. Let's get the recon up, and then we can have the fighter bombers take off as well, and they will join us. So as you can see at the top, everything's hotkeys to get to different things. So say if I want to get to an anti-tank base, I can just press O on the keyboard, and then I can press F, and then I can place that down, or I can do I and then F to place that down. So the hotkeys are actually not too bad in this game at all. The hurricanes now coming in to help out, and they're going to drop bombs onto these Stuarts. Lovely stuff. So I'm just going to build some more infantry to help hold there, and my recon plane can just hang out. See the hurricanes come back to base, they're ready to go again. So in the bottom left you have all of the units that you have available. So I've got one recon plane, I've got the 3 fighter bombers, and I can just select all of those, and I can just tell them to go a certain direction. They'll find their own targets, don't have to worry about it. One thing that's great about Ruse is you really don't have to worry about micro all that much in this game. You can just kind of play a much more macro game where you say, oh, I want to create, you know, a few tanks here, maybe a couple of Vickers tanks, for example, from my barracks, and just select them and put them in a certain position, and then they'll just keep going to that position. Now, it obviously gets a bit more complex than that in multiplayer, but ultimately against AI, you can kind of just play that way, which is really fun. What I'm going to do is, you can see here we've got the armored recon in our armor base. Our different factions get different recon units, so some get infantry recon, or like jeeps and stuff like that, as well as like actual infantry recon themselves. In this case, we have an AC Mark 1. Now I'll just like add some cruisers with that. I can actually upgrade them to Cromwells. If the game mode was set to like 1939, then I wouldn't be able to upgrade to the Cromwell. So that's basically what that is doing. But yeah, in this case, we'll just get the armored recon. We'll get some cruisers out, and that will be fine. And we're never going to get ambushed here because my recon is spotting everything. But you can see the AI there has used their dummy forces against me, which brings me back to the ruses. So I can do decryption, which will sort of tell me what the different orders are on the enemy forces. We can also use camouflage net, so we can see like their entire base right now, right? And they can see ours. But if I do a camouflage net, it basically makes all of the buildings invisible. So what you can do is maybe try and sneak up buildings closer to the enemy, and they don't know that they're there, and you can just pump out units right in front of them, which is crazy. And you can also do reverted intel, or there's radio silence, which also hides your units. So if I want to hide where my tanks are, then I can do that. And the last one was reverted, which was basically making any light tank look like a heavy tank, or vice versa. So if I don't want people to be scared of my heavy tanks and come towards me thinking they're light tanks, we can use reverted intel to make them do that. It's really, really interesting. The AI is using a lot of M16s now because I've been using a lot of aircraft, so they have actually learnt, which is interesting. We're going to upgrade to the Cromwell. I might get a couple of Matildas out, and we'll just start building the other bases so I can show you the other units that the British have to offer before we go and smash the AI to pieces. Because yeah, so far you can see that we have kind of held the line here quite easily with all of this infantry. Oh, it looks like those were decoys, so even the AI got me. Looks like they do have the Bofors there though, which is a legitimate unit. You can see up there their orders. Okay, we also have prototype units, so I'm not entirely sure what the British prototype are, but we'll check that out in a moment. We have our artillery base here. It gives us access to Bofors. If I need to worry about enemy aircraft, we can get an 81 or 87mm howitzer. We can get a 140mm howitzer if we upgrade, and we can also get access to the Sexton. You'll see here how combat works. When you take damage, your unit will try and retreat. So in order to stop your units from retreating, you can use fanaticism, and that can work out quite nicely. Now, artillery does have a pretty big range in this game, so that's something to bear in mind. For anti-tank, we can get the 2-pounder. We can also upgrade that to a 17-pounder, and we can also get the Archer, which is cool. And then we'll just wait and see what we can get in the prototype base. And one thing you do have to bear in mind is that as you run out of resources, you see these supply depots, they're not like infinite, they are in fact finite. So we've only got 9 cash remaining in this supply depot. And at that point, you're going to really need administrative buildings in order to maintain your income. Because administrative buildings generate $1 every 4 seconds. So in big team games, getting those online is something that you often need to do. In this case, you can see that there are supply depots sort of more mid in the game, but I've actually managed to get my infantry really close to their base, so that's nice. We're we've got the Matildas coming in behind. Those are going to be a lot more resilient. And anytime a tank's getting close to this tree line, it's getting smashed by my infantry. Because basically the AI is not using recon. If they were using recon here, you can see the white line around the recon unit. That shows what you can see with the recon unit. And in this case, they don't have one. Because if they had one even just here where my mouse is, they would see all my infantry in that tree line and be able to shoot them before they ambush them. What I'm going to do here is we're actually just going to try and capture their base, because what you can do with infantry in this game is you can capture bases. So it is a strategy to like drop a barracks really close to the enemy early on, and then take them out that way by capturing their headquarters or something. Okay, let's get some more of my aircraft out. We're going to start making a bit more of a play towards the enemy. I'm actually going to try and cross the infantry here. And we'll move them across to this edge of the tree line so that we can kill those tanks. Get my recon up as well. It may be worth me grabbing some Spitfires so that we can defend my aircraft. Or, of course, get the prototype base I was talking about earlier. There's no reason for me to build all of my buildings close together like this, by the way. I'm just doing it because it is quicker for me to show you guys the stuff. My poor Hurricane is getting shot down there. I'm going to make sure all of these come with me. You'll see that they'll get into their little transports and off they go. So in the prototype base we get the Skink, which is a anti-aircraft. It's like looks like a Sherman hull with an AA on it. We've got the R.U.S.E, and then there's also the Churchill, which is a nice thick heavy tank. We could bring in a Churchill, or we can bring in an R.U.S.E. I could also bring in a Skink, although I do need to make sure that I start building more of these administrative buildings, otherwise we will not be able to build anything.
Unit reports damage, sir.
Unfortunately, I might lose my recon here. Ooh, we just about managed to push off the P-40. So when you're attacking in this game, you want to zoom out, you want to check your sectors, and then in this case we'll be like, oh, we want to blitz here, we'll also do fanaticism, and then we just kind of run at the enemy. You can also do like fanaticism and terror to make them just fall back quicker, but in this case you can see that we're just going to start running them down with these buffs, and that's a very good way to use tanks. Be extremely effective. And what we'll do is we'll just take out the enemy base here so they can no longer build those. But these tanks are backing off because they can't actually engage tanks. It's going to take a while for my Churchill to get over here, I'll be honest. But hopefully you're getting the idea of how the game works. We can bring up my fighter bombers, we can use this to create some Spitfires, and those can cover us against the P-40s. It looks like half of these are decoys and half of them aren't. We've managed to take the map, so let's just go ahead and place down another fly depot. It looks like that's just entirely AA. That's not decoys, that's for sure. We'll go take those out. So that's all of the units for the Brits. You can also place down defences as well, so we can place down an outpost, which basically just gives us recon line of sight and a little machine gun on it for dealing with infantry. There's an anti-tank position. You can see the blue circle is how far they can fire, and then the artillery position as well. Which you can place these relatively close to the enemy. I mean, you can build anywhere on the map. There's no limitation to that. Okay, let's just head towards the enemy base. And hopefully my Spitfires can come in shortly and help us out. One thing I will say, if you're going to jump into the multiplayer of this game, there are a lot of old vets that have a lot of experience in this game. So maybe create like noob lobbies if you're brand new to the game. Like even myself, I kind of remembered the meta from back in the day, but I think it's just changed so much and people have played so much that they've perfected the build orders and so on. So you got to be kind of careful. All Spitfires going in. Managed to shoot down the P-40 there. Very nice, very nice. You can see how vulnerable aircraft are on the field if they aren't in the sky. So don't do what I'm doing, or don't do what the AI is doing, and let me get too close to destroy them. Right, that's their airfield destroyed, and basically everything's dead now. So yeah, hopefully that kind of showed you everything there is to know about Skirmish in Ruse. Obviously, as I mentioned before, the units are different for every single faction, although every faction has the same buildings other than fortifications. So like fortifications are different, units are different, but the base buildings are the same. So like everyone gets a headquarters, an armor base, an anti-tank base, an artillery base. You can build more than one as well, so just heads up on that if you want to increase production and so on. Usually one is fine, because you're never going to have that much cash unless it gets really late game and you have lots of administrative buildings. But administrative buildings are really sort of you counting on getting to the late game, because otherwise they cost a lot. Like 100 is a lot of cash when you could build like the equivalent of 4 or 5 tanks. Alright, we'll start engaging the... Actually, I'll tell you what we can do. Where's my aviary at? Is that the aviary? I can't even remember the range on this. Well, we use the aviary to engage and destroy the enemy headquarters. We've also got the Churchill here that can move up there. I'll just make sure we destroy this building. It could well be a decoy, actually. It was not a decoy. We also bring out the Wellington bombers if we upgrade to those. They're very, very good at destroying buildings.
5 minutes left. Open fire on designated target.
So I think my favorite strategy for British anyway, if I were to play like competitively, is definitely just like spamming aircraft. Their aircraft are really good, especially getting like Hurricanes, a lot of Hurricanes early on. And then if you assist them with a couple of Spitfires later on, then you end up in a pretty nice spot. And there's the aviary firing away. Basically acts as an artillery unit in this game. Our entire force can move up and engage. Take down that base ASAP. I could also just capture it as well. You can capture bases in this game. You'll also notice that if we're going really far, they will use the road there. There you go. That's the AI taken care of, and they did have a recon unit back here. We'll just wipe that out. Once you take out the enemy's main base, it reveals the rest of their units on the map.
Head to the new position, man.
Get my regulars to come in from the other side there. Although, that's it. Total victory. Brilliant. And you get a bunch of XP from that. Very nice. You do get a lot of experience from playing single player and campaign, so don't let my level fool you. I think I got most of that probably playing single player or like versus AI with my friends when I was younger. But yeah, anyway, super fun. Really, really good game. Definitely worth checking out. If you have it already, of course, just download it. You have all of the stuff ready to go. Like, you don't need to like, if you go on the Steam store page and it says you don't own it, just make sure to check your Steam library first, because it may still be in there from a long time ago. Mine was. Alrighty, well, anyway, that's it from me. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this quick look at Ruse, and welcome back to Ruse. It's really cool that Eugen Systems has managed to get this back on the store so that people can actually buy it. Like, the Japan DLC was only around for like a year or so before it just disappeared and nobody could get it. It was really crazy. So awesome to see it back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.